It's always fun to get a reprint that's a blast from the past. And today, I'm going to dig into one of them. Good morning, Magic. I'm Gavin Verhey from Wizards of the Coast. And in April of 2010, Rise of the Eldrazi released, bringing Eldrazi Titans, Temples, and Board Sweepers into the world. But while that is the theme everybody remembers, it also wasn't the only thing going on here. On the heroic side, we're what the design team called levelers. No, not the weird Mirrodin rare. It was a mechanic that would go on to be called level up. Given that the original Zendikar had a lot of D&D inspirations, for example, the allies were meant to be your D&D adventuring party, having a literal level up mechanic made sense creatively, and also functionally. How are your small, cheap creatures going to pose a threat to the huge Eldrazi of the set? By leveling up and getting stronger. You could spend mana to put level counters on them, and then as you hit new thresholds of level counters, they would unlock new stats and abilities. And of course, with a new mechanic comes ways to enhance that mechanic. Often we like to make build-arounds for a mechanic for both limited and to help supercharge it for constructed. For example, Venerated Teacher was a common that could generate a ridiculous amount of virtual mana if you had enough level up creatures in play. Time of Heroes was a double glorious anthem for your level up creatures. But at Rare, there was a spicy constructed shot that would let you activate your creatures to level them up for cheap, Training Grounds. I went back and looked at the developer history, and this card had an interesting path here. It started as an uncommon green aura that could enchant a single creature and make its abilities cost less to use. Pretty narrow and definitely not worth a card. Then it got moved to a green enchantment, like you see here, and was modeled after the card Heartstone, affecting everyone's abilities. Before finally getting moved into blue from green, what a switch, and dropping applying to everyone's abilities. This color switch especially makes sense given the level up deck was based in blue-white. Note that it can't reduce to less than 1. That's there to make sure you still had to pay at least 1 for your levelers, and frankly making sure it wasn't too easy to combo with by doing something like making Dragon Engine an infinite power attacker. Now, in the developer comments, there's a lot of discussion around if this card will be appealing or not. Should it stay in the set? And one of the people at the forefront of fighting for it, Mark Rosewater himself. Something Mark has taught me over years of working on Magic is that if there is a Johnny or Jenny card, and for those who don't know our internal lingo, Johnny or Jenny is the kind of player that likes assembling combos, especially convoluted ones, a lot of times that card will be on the chopping block because there are whole swaths of people who just find it unappealing. They often do poorly in our internal polls, for example. But you have to protect the ones you really like because there are a ton of players out there in the world who will still like them when they're released, even though others will scratch their heads at the card. And so I have strived to keep that in mind with my sets myself, protecting weird cards like Grothama, all-devouring, even when many people look at them and don't understand why they exist. Anyway, I'm glad Mark fought for Training Grounds here, because it went on to become a janky combo favorite. From simply finding a way to animate your Basalt Monolith and creating infinite mana, to Kenrith plus Composite Golem to gain infinite mana and activate Kenrith's ability infinite times, to even the insane set lineup of Spawn Sire of Ulamog to create infinite dies triggers, or net positive on mana with 2 Training Grounds so you can go on to activate its sweet ability, there has been a lot of silly fun generated from this one card. Now, Rise of the Eldrazi was 13 years ago, and while we did see a list printing and a judge foil version, it's finally back into standard with March of the Machine Aftermath. What took so long? Well, Training Grounds' great strength and popularity is in being a silly combo enabler. That also makes it its greatest weakness. It is the kind of card you have to check every card in a format against to make sure it isn't breaking with Training Grounds. At just 1 mana, the cost to play it is so low, and since it often inspires 3+ card combos, it can create unexpected combos that can easily sneak through. And sometimes that's fine, but it is something we have to be aware of the entire time it's in standard. That said, we have a great play design team for playtesting, and we can keep this card in mind for the next couple years of standard activated abilities. Sometimes a fun reprint is worth having to check future cards against it, and that's Training Grounds. Hopefully you enjoyed a quick dive into this reprint. If you liked this short kind of single card story, let me know in the comments down below, and maybe I'll do more in the future. I'll talk with you again soon, and until then, may you have fun assembling your 3-card combos. You got this! Isamaru and Yoshimaru brings us to our first of our Team Up Legends. There are a lot of them in here. To be honest, these were just too fun, and it was great to remove any restraint and work on them. This one was so cute to me too. 2 cute Kamigawa dogs in 1 cute place. Hey now, it's Kylum All-Star. It was a great card to get your game on,